Bad habits that are addicting. In this video, we are going to look at bad habits and how they are addicting. Stay to the end because we are going to share some simple ways you can not only break the bad habits, but put healthy and good habits in their place. Are dependences in truth bad practices? According to the regular style of dependence, they are. This theory of dependence states that a routine ends up being a reliance when it begins to adversely affect your life, and you can't stop. Individuals with a bad routine of cigarette smoking normally feel mistreated. While smoking is not restricted, it is looked down on by society. Individuals used to light up a cigarette anywhere. Then came designated cigarette smoking areas in buildings. Eventually, the designated smoking areas were moved outside buildings. A lot of individuals have stopped their bad habits of smoking. That is how reliance works. To keep others from the ill effects of their formerly owned smoke, lots of people have modified their bad routine to smokeless tobacco or vaping. Simply because the tobacco is not smoked in a usual cigarette does not mean it is not addictive. It is as difficult to break a bad habit as it is to break a smoking habit. Sleeping aids can wind up being habit-forming also. Some people unintentionally overdose to reach a level that will put them to sleep. The problem with the habit is that some people form a tolerance that requires them to take more sleep aids than is safe. It generally takes the intervention of a doctor to assist in stopping this bad habit. Alcohol can be another bad habit if consumed in excess on a frequent basis. For some people with specific physical conditions, it can be extremely harmful. If a person is addicted to alcohol, they will not be bothered about the risk. Drugs pose a series of bad habits. There are various drugs on the street that have different effects. Prescription drugs and street drugs represent different levels of dependency in individuals. They are all bad and will cause a certain amount of reliance. Prescription drugs that are prescribed by a doctor for an injury, health problem, or to treat pain, can likewise create addiction, which is another habit-forming risk. Things that don't appear bad can be just as habit-forming. Take food for example. A person can become dependent on foods that are high in carbohydrates or high in sugar. These foods can take the place of healthy foods in a person's diet. They begin to put on weight and are then at risk for many health issues such as heart disease, diabetes, and even liver failure. If you are finding this video thought-provoking and helpful, please take a second and give it a thumbs up. And while you're there, subscribe and hit the bell notification. To quit will generally need some sort of assistance. The fact is, when you have a significant dependence, experiencing the sights, smells, or noises of your reliance will immediately activate your brain into addiction mode. It is not a surprise that people live many years with addicting bad practices and behaviors. Habits, especially bad ones, may require a person to not just give the bad habit up, but it may be necessary for a person to learn new things to do and find new people to hang out with. For example, eating food that is not good for you. Try eating a food that is not loaded with sugar or carbohydrates. A person has to make the choice to change. It is then necessary to learn how to live life differently. A person who is giving bad foods will form a habit of eating more healthy foods, and may also develop a habit of reading food labels. A person who is addicted to alcohol, street drugs, prescription drugs may have to go through a withdrawal period, and then begin the process of learning how to live life without the drug that has kept them in bondage in many cases for years. One way to form new habits and not fall prey to the old habits that can seem so natural is to schedule out your day. By scheduling, a person can then plan to not engage in whatever bad habit they were doing and intentionally engage in the good things instead. Identify your triggers. These are places, people, and smells that make you want to engage in the bad and often harmful habit. If you know your triggers, you can avoid them, making it easier to not get caught up on the bad habit. If you like to smoke a cigarette after a meal, or with your coffee, you can do something different. For example, eat a piece of fruit after a meal, or have a small pastry with your coffee. Be mindful of the situation. Become aware of how you feel in the moment. Engage in self-talk. Have a plan of what you are going to do in the tempting situation, and talk yourself through it. Identify the reason you want to change the bad habit. Remind yourself of the reason, or why you are going to so much trouble to end the harmful habit. The reason has to be stronger than you just want to. You need to have a good reason, like quitting smoking to be able to breathe better, or give up carbohydrates so you can feel better and control your blood sugar. Remember, dependence and bad habits are a series of bad practices. Replace the bad habits with good habits, which are a series of good practices. We hope this video provoked some thought about habits and how to break the bad ones and replace them with good ones. Bad habits are anything that adversely affect your life in a negative manner. Please subscribe to this channel and like this video if you found some value out of it. Thank you for watching.